By now, everyone knows Martin is a one-of-a-kind talent. This is a guy who almost dropped the BO5 record and then dropped it on the biggest stage in EMEA, beating a titan of EMEA in Fnatic when he dropped that record. He played, up to this point, the greatest 48 hours of Valorant the world has ever seen. And there is a very realistic chance that is the greatest 48 hours of Valorant the world will ever see. But there's more to the story. See, after being freed from the shackles of Carmine Core and put on Gentlemates, he led them to Masters Santiago. Now, they qualified to playoffs and immediately lost, not even able to come top 5. But here's what no one is talking about. He put up, individually, the greatest international event ever. That's right. Normally that stat has an asterisk, has a pre-Tins Reykjavik, pre-some old ancient record that was never supposed to be broken, like Tins Reykjavik. But that's not the case. He beat an event that, may I remind you, a record that has stood for almost 5 years and was thought by many people, including myself, to never be beaten, and his team didn't even place top 5. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how that happened. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I went for 10K by the end of Santiago. I'll bring it down. Let's go for 9K by the end of Master Santiago. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's free and helps me out a ton, and let's get into it. Now, to do that, we're going to have to take a look at their defense. They did not win a single defensive round. That's right. They were up 8-4 and lost every single round to China, by the way. China, up to this point, had not won a map or a series, obviously, if you didn't want a map, in this tournament yet. And yet, Gentlemates ended up choking an 8-4 to them. Let's take a look here. First of all, I promise to talk about the Viper Wall. This is an I'm not like other girls type of thing, right? I promise I'll talk about it. It's very technically a wall that, if you're stacked on site, could help you out theoretically, but you lose so much space. You have the opportunity for, when Viper actually plays behind the wall, which we'll talk about in the next round, you have the opportunity to get lurked up on here. I just don't like it. I really don't, and I don't think it's advantageous. However, I get why you would use it in a round like this, where you have, as you can see here, 3 people in spawn, so there is a decent chance you end up just going and stacking towards B, right? The game plan here is pretty simple. Stack up to where there's first contact. Unfortunately, there wasn't contact because this Astra Smoke is just forced to be respected. You'll see here, Astra Smoke goes down. They have to respect it because Yoru didn't buy a flash. The only way you're getting through this is if you use your only Prowler or your only Eye for the next little bit. They're not going to do that. So they walk back over towards A, right? I've already mentioned they have the 3 people in spawn, this little group going to where there's first contact. And what really upsets me is this, where they have minimal utility, this is a buy where they have like nothing, right? There's almost nothing that they have. The only non-rechargeable, average pieces of utility they have is 2 Brim Smokes and this Prowler and then the orb that's already been thrown. That's it, right? So if you had someone else on site, maybe here, this could have gone so much differently. Instead, they're just forced to play into the retake because that's how they've decided to play it, and it doesn't go well for them. This is, by the way, exactly how this would have been probably in the start of a round. You have 2 people on B, and then 3 people over here. Yoru sets his TP to weak side. This is like the average defensive setup, right? The only thing that would have changed is Yoru probably wouldn't have his TP up anymore if they had been playing like this for the last 40 seconds, because obviously gate crash, blah, blah, blah. But otherwise, this is exactly how it would have been anyways. Once they go to try and tap, the call is made to fight through, try and deny plant by mates. It just doesn't work out here, right? Because you've gotten the hard part of taking site with minimal utility down, and now that gun advantage on their side does come into play. Granted, it's not like a huge one or anything, because there are a lot of ghosts on this side as well, but the Sheriff's putting in work right here, as you can see. Bang, 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 and that's pretty much all she wrote for this round. But let's get into the next round and talk about the different Viper Wall. I'm not like other Viper Walls. Alright, instead of showing you guys the eco round, I'm just going to try and fully explain this wall. Let me know if you'd like more Valorant segments in the future. I just feel like this is the easiest way for me to kind of explain it and visualize it a lot better for you guys. So obviously you've seen this standard wall. This is the wall that gets used. Valorant doesn't have it go through the TP, but it does go through the TP and can help you get a little bit of passive A control there as well. But right here, the advantage is pretty obvious, right? You have more space with this wall up. All of this space is gained passively by the wall unless they disrespect it. It's something that is going to give you, crucially, right here, this long control, meaning they can't actually get out onto the site without passing through the wall. Same thing with hookah. But the other wall does have a couple of advantages, and one that I think is slept on a bit here is the eco stacking potential. Look at this segment from here to here versus this from here to here. On B, you're forcing them through a much narrower spot if they have to go onto B with this wall up, meaning that on eco rounds, you could use Buckies, you could use Stingers, you could use a bunch of these things, get people in the box, on top of the box, right here, right here. There are a lot of places that you could go and use this wall as an eco play, right? Keep in mind, they did not use this wall every round. It was a wall they used for the first 2 rounds. Then I believe he missed the first wall. We'll get into that. Or, the third time he missed this wall, and the 4th time he actually got it. So they played around with this a lot. But I do think this is something that could really help on the eco rounds, right? But this also has another huge advantage, which is more obvious, which is for the retake, right? You've seen so many people play here for the post plant. That's not something you have to worry about. That's not something you have to clear. If you're retaking through CT, which is where you would normally be retaking through unless you've taken TP, you're going to be able to put this wall up and only focus on the actual site area. You don't have to focus about all of this space. They would have to swing through the wall, disrespect it, and it does give you a little bit of that passive control there. Now, one disadvantage of the wall is that if you're a Viper playing behind your wall and you put it up, you feel pressured, but you don't hear or see anything, there is definitely a chance, keep in mind this wall doesn't exist, that this guy can walk through and kill your back line. There were opportunities for that to happen, definitely. But overall, I do think this wall, while not the greatest, is something you could definitely whip out for a couple eco rounds and see some success on the B-bomb site. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you like the Valorant segments, and let's get back to it. All right. It's their bonus round, and AG make a masterful play. They buy an outlaw. They didn't have an outlaw the previous round. They had a marshal. Instead, this round, they buy the outlaw. And look at what it does. Gentlemates think that they're safe, right? Not a lot of teams force anything extra on the bonus round other than maybe a sheriff or something. But they full buy the outlaw, and look at the effect it has, right? Gentlemates feel safe because there was an outlaw last round to buy all of this light armor and force up heavily onto the utility instead. The only guy that doesn't have light shield has full armor and a judge. He's going to get taken care of as well. By the time they hear these outlaw shots ring out, it's too late. They already have a play set. By the way, I'm not 100% sure if he missed his wall or if he didn't want this little pocket to make them maybe want to check left more. I'm honestly not sure. It didn't end up mattering here because left gets cleared with the outlaw anyways. And again, I don't think, definitely a world where this still is the play, but I don't think he would have bought all the utility knowing he's going to probably be taking first contact if they come A. If they had an outlaw, I think he probably would have forced heavy shield and went a bit lighter on the util. But again, as I said, they scale up with this outlaw, go ahead, get the kill, and by then, Waylay now is put in a spot where he has to get one or get out. He's forced to get out, not really able to get a kill onto the saturate, and then, boom, 4v5, and I love this about AG, right? You can say whatever you want about Chinese Valorant, and I'm right there with you. I'm on the front lines. I don't think China as a region compares to the other 3. Except maybe EMEA, but I digress. However, AG specifically are very, 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 very good tactically, especially, and I mean it with respect, for a Chinese team. They hit the TP, not overcommitting based off the picks, not overheating. This kill, again, they do this into the Viper Lurk, gets the kill onto the only guy that isn't one shot to the outlaw, to the body, and then 3v5, Star tries his best, and he does really give a valiant effort, but there's not much you can do. There are 4 players hunting you down. This is filthy. This is absolutely disgusting what he does here. Tux lets him cross, gets the kill, and hits a shot that I could not hit. You could give me a million years to hit this shot, and I wouldn't, right? Even, I want to show you guys the replay, and I never show replays of what this is. I don't think he sees him. I don't, like, he maybe sees a pixel of his head. Do you see him before he hits the shot? Because I sure don't. Just disgusting stuff and a great round from all gamers. I want to point out 2 things here. Number 1, you can see the B wall at work, and if all gamers did execute, I have no doubt that Gentlemates would have won this round. In fact, it would be very difficult for them to lose a 3v4 when they're on defense with the numbers advantage and the Viper wall. However, look at what Martin is being asked to do here. They're putting him on an island and telling him to sink or swim. He doesn't even have a TP set to get out right now. He is on A completely alone. They are able to make it a 4v5 total on B, but once these guys hit TP, Martin is kind of screwed in this spot, right? He has to either TP out, accept it, and play the 5v4 retake, or do what he's doing now, which is trying to make a play, trying to do something here. And this is just unlucky, man. There's not that much more I could say about it. He gets 3 with a raise rocket. Martin tries his best, but he can't kill literally everyone, and then just gets Yoru ulted on, and they're able to spam him through the box. Really an unlucky round by Jiltamates, to be perfectly honest with you. Just not something they had full control over right there, and they're going to go down 9-8. This is an eco round, and as you know, I don't normally cover eco rounds. A, my videos would be probably like an hour long if I did, and B, I think it's just not as interesting. Teams try a lot more wonky stuff, and it's generally accepted because it's an eco round and you have to take risks. However, I want to talk about the Viper roll here. Now, Viper's dead, so none of this matters, but in theory, where this Fade is, who, by the way, is able to win them the round, right? It's a 3v2. If he doesn't get these kills right here, it's over. The Viper roll would have covered that from where he's playing. Now, does he play in a different spot if the Viper roll is there and Viper's alive? Probably, right? But in theory, which is all we really have to go off of this game, because the Viper wall didn't get as much value as it could have. All gamers were avoiding it a lot, and then the Viper was dead in some of these crucial moments as well. But in theory, this is a spot where it does get that value. It's really interesting to see what could have, should have, would have happened in this game, but it's 10-8. AG are lined up for a really quick A rush here, and Gentlemates are going to cancel it out with the pit. They're forced to just go around and pivot. For those wondering about the status of the Viper wall, I don't know. I don't know if it's missed. I don't know if this is intentional. I don't know. I'm the last person to diss someone about missing this wall. My Premier teammates will tell you I have an issue, but my issue isn't getting it here. It's getting it through the TP and actually out on the other side. I digress. Anyways, all gamers are still coming out to hit A here, even through the pit. And it actually, once the bomb gets down, ends up in almost a reversed situation where now the pit is for all gamers and they have the control that mates had earlier with this pit in this area. Now, I do want to say, this is something that Gentlemates are really good at and execute on very well. I'd be interested to see the win rate when they have Yoru and Astral, because they are always so good at astralting. So there's a pocket right here for their Yoru player. He can get out there and then come back out with no sound cue and get the kill. Look here, he Yoru ults, and then they immediately try and do this with the Waylay dash. Waylay dash makes Yoru know, okay, there's someone in front of me, I need to kill him, draws his attention, and then Martin's able to get the kill behind him. Unfortunately, the timing was like a tiny bit off there, and so Waylay dies. Ideally, Waylay doesn't die there, and he just kind of dashes to move crosshairs. But not the case. And now, if you'll look, remember, Martin had to give up his op for that so that he could actually come out and get the kill with the Bulldog. Now upgrades it to a Vandal, but it doesn't end up mattering. He's able to still get this kill, but if you'll look at how that wall is situated, Brim is still outside of the pit completely. He's going to be able to act as a very late, like, stall guy and ends up getting the molly onto the bomb, and that's pretty much all she wrote. Martin not able to get that kill, but it wouldn't have mattered because he's going to die there anyways. Yeah, so really unfortunate there, but I do think this is not a team that is, like, by any means having a fluky run. I want to get that out of the way immediately. This team is very solid. I do wonder a little bit how the Yoru nerfs are going to affect Martin. He's played pretty much Yoru only. I think he has a map of Phoenix, and that's it. But we're going to have to see. I think this team can go really far in upcoming international, so I'm excited to take a look. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.